Gateway Gas by Sylvester Brown. Excerpt from Chapter 14. The Ever Mysterious Olivia. March 15th, 2017. "Hey, Saul, look! It's the newspaper man!" Sal yelled to his twin brother as Cliff entered their business, Saul and Sal's used tire shop. The shop has been in the Ville neighborhood on Martin Luther King Drive before there was a Martin Luther King Drive. Back when Cliff was a kid, the street was named Easton Avenue. The twins had run the business since the early 1960s. Business was always good. A new set of tires for the average sedan could cost up to $1,000. Customers could get a decent set at the used tire shop for $300 or less. The address given for Olivia was just a few blocks from the brothers' shop. Cliff knew they knew everybody and everything that happened in the neighborhood. Maybe the twins would have information about the prisoner he could use. Cliff appreciated the metal tinkle of the rusted bell above the door as he entered. The sound was a throwback to times when elderly black business owners always had a word of advice or an odd job for neighborhood kids like Cliff. Saul, Sal's brother, came through the dingy burgundy curtains that separated the storefront from the huge garage-like area where the brothers serviced cars and trucks. "Hey, young blood," he said, wiping his dirty hands on an even dirtier rag. Saul embraced Cliff. Though in his late 70s, Saul is linebacker strong. Sal, not so much. Cliff took comfort in this embrace. He also liked the fact that no matter how old he was, he'd always be young blood to Saul and Sal. The twin brothers are total opposites who rarely agree on anything: race, politics, crime. Not even origination of the shop's name. Sal said the name was inherited from the previous Jewish owners. Saul told Cliff that his brother was full of shit. The shop, he said, was an abbreviation of their first names, Solomon and Salvatore Nestor. Saul's version made more sense. Sal's story relied on the unbelievable fact that two Jews sold a shop to two black men who happened to share their first names. "What's on your mind, young blood?" Saul asked. "You only come around when your cogs are stuck." Sal laughed, chimed in. "Yeah, what problem can we solve for you today, young man?" Cliff wished he could deny it, but it was true. He was still shaken from his brief but brutal conversation with Olivia. His first impulse was to go back to the Globe and tell Tink he wasn't doing the assignment. He'd tell his boss that Olivia was batshit crazy and there was no way he'd get anything useful out of her. After driving around aimlessly, he found himself trolling his old neighborhood. "You guys heard about that lady who killed that baby?" The brothers exchanged glances. They were communicating something with their eyes that Cliff didn't quite understand. Sal looked at his brother as if seeking permission to speak. "Crazy-ass woman. What kind of mother kills her own baby?" Saul rolled his eyes at his brother, turned his back and went back behind the counter. He pulled out an old hat-sized tin box with World War II-era stickers pasted on its lid and sides. It once belonged to the twins' father, a soldier of the war, Saul once told him. Cliff got the impression that Saul was carefully mulling his words before responding to his brother's comment. "Stop it, Sal. We don't know the facts, only rumors." "Rumors my black ass," Sal retorted. "They found a dead baby and some crack in the house. Case closed. She's going to get the death penalty. Unless..." Again, the weird communication thing. Unless? Unless what? Cliff wondered. It was as if Sal wanted Saul to fill in the unfinished sentence. Usually, Cliff appreciated the brothers' different take on things. Sal had little patience for today's black people. He rails incessantly about no account, do nothing, lazy-ass, welfare and drug-addicted niggas. Especially young niggas with sagging pants and even lower IQs and morals, he'd say. Saul's an old-school black pride, everything wrong with black folks is because racism kind of guy. Somewhere in between their divergent philosophies, Cliff usually found a balance that guided his thinking and some of his writing. But not this time. Saul wasn't playing the usual tit-for-tat game with his brother. He neither indicted or defended Olivia. Cliff stared at Saul as he tinkered with items in his box. "What is it, Saul?" "Oh, nothing, his old friend replied. "I just think folks who don't know what they're talking about ought to shut the hell up, Sal." "I'm just saying," Sal replied, unusually non-combative. "Wait, do you guys know Olivia?" Cliff asked. "If you do, that would be helpful, because I found very little about her in the public records." Again, the brothers swapped curious glances. "Well, I think Saul knew." His brother's angry glance stalled Sal's words. "You ever seen a Luger up close, Cliff?" Saul asked, pulling a black semi-automatic with a brown base and elongated barrel from the tin box. Cliff walked closer to Saul's extended hand. "Can't say that I have," he answered, cradling the gun. Cliff imagined the twins' father fighting the Germans in the trenches of World War II. His respect for them deepened as he realized that they too were soldiers, but in the Korean War in the 1950s. The fact that their father fought for freedoms overseas that they were denied in their own country humbled him. What snapped Cliff out of his mental revelry was the realization that his old friend had sidestepped his question. "What were you about to say, Sal?" Saul answered before his brother could. "I don't think we're going to be able to help you on this one, young bud." He retrieved the gun, put it back in its tin, closed the lid, turned his back, slid the burgundy curtain aside, and returned to the back of his shop. Sal just shrugged his shoulders. "Well, I guess we ain't got nothing to say." The bell tingled again as Cliff exited the tire shop. He looked up and down the street of his old stomping grounds. Cliff instinctively felt the Nestor brothers knew more about Olivia than they were letting on, but were refusing to talk for some odd reason. He fired up the Lexus's engine. As he peered in the rearview mirror before whipping a U-turn to head downtown back to the Globe, he vowed that he would learn more about the mysterious, troubling Olivia Johnson.